what contribution do you want to make to your spouse in the next 5 years? For some of you, you have your wife, for example, she came in with just one form of education, no investment on her, only you. You're just working the journey on yourself alone. You're not even thinking, can I support my spouse or my wife in the next 5 years? Let her even get a master's degree, maybe in the next 5 years. That's my ambition for her. And first help her within the first 1 year to first agree what course does she want to study and what does she, and save up for it. And say maybe year 2 or year 3 she's going to start. You've married her for 5 years, no difference in her life. The same way you married her is the same way she has been with you for another 10 years. Progress is not imported. It's as a result of sustained actions and consistency. Hello, Your Excellency. It's a money mindset with Razak. And last week, I told you that annual year resolution, short it. Let's think in another way. Because the only reason you are not getting it right is because you're still thinking. You keep thinking that every year you need to do something new, forgetting that it's a consistency that brings about the change. Recall, I told you last week that there are 5 things you need to think about when you're thinking about thinking big. You need to think about those things from the picture of 5 years. What do you want to achieve in the next 3 years or 5 years? Because that helps you rather than thinking, just taking one action 1 year, you drop it, you don't achieve it, you don't make any progress, you don't make any commitment, and you keep shouting on your village people. They are not the one. So first, professional career. 2, your health. 3, your finances. 4, your family or community. And the 5th, you want to guess? Your spirituality, not your religion. So take your mind off that. Now, one of the things I said last week is that you need to think big, which is the bigger picture. My profession or my career, where do I want to see myself? What are the smaller actions, and which of those actions do I need to take? If all I can achieve on this pathway is just one, that's fine. So let's talk about your finances this year. Between now and 2030, where do you see yourself when it comes to your finances? You can start thinking in a very dynamic way. By start asking yourself, by 2030, I want to ensure that my financial worth, I worth XYZ. Yeah? I'm not saying you that you know today, your annual salary is just 100,000 naira, or your annual salary rather is just 1 million. And you're saying in the next 5 years, you're thinking your annual worth is going to be $1 million. If you do that, you're shooting yourself, you're deceiving yourself. So be realistic to yourself. You need to understand that finance is about time. There's a factor called time there. And I'm going to talk about that in one of the future episodes. But really, I want you to first and foremost tell yourself, where do you want to see yourself? What do you want to be your financial worth? Your financial worth necessarily does not mean you want to have that in terms of total money with you. It could be meaning that, for example, you're telling yourself in the next 5 years, I want to financially worth 100 million, 500 million. Of that 500 million, I want to be able to have properties that are worth 100 million. Of that, in the next 5 years, I want to be able to have stocks and shares that are worth 200 million. In the next 5 years, I want to be able to have other forms of assets like gold that worth 200. So you're breaking it down. And that means that's the things that will constitute your financial worth. Now, if you tell yourself that, the next question I will want to ask you is, how are you going to achieve that? And what's the first baby step you want to do towards that? Keep in mind, all your plans, there's a connection there. Remember, we talked about your professional career, and we talked about your health. Because without your health, which career do you want to build for yourself? You can't build anything. You can't do anything. And remember, those two, they are also interlinked with your finances. Because as part of your finances, you might need to invest in yourself. Because if you don't invest in your capacity, your knowledge, you might not be able to have that career growth that can give you more income, right? If you are not investing in your ability to make more money, then the chance of making that more money might not come. But we've also seen people who make more money and they spend it lavishly. I mean, is that you? No. Think about that. Maybe it's you. Maybe you are making money, but you're not putting a well plan and structure to it. And that's where you need to think about this financial plan. To tell yourself, in the next 5 years, can I have up to 10 plots of land? Yeah, maybe that's going to be what that, or maybe in the next 5 years, I just want to own a house for myself. If that's what your goal is, that you want to own a house for yourself in the next 5 years, then you can tell yourself, 2026, if all I can do is just to buy one plot of land, at least in a developing location, depending on where you live, then that's a clear plan. After buying that one plot of land, in year two, year two, I'm going to do the foundation and I'll try and build it up to window level. Year three, I'm going to do it up to roofing level. Year four, I'm going to finish it and do all the internal finishing. Year five, I want to move into that house. That's clear. So you're telling yourself you want to have, by that time that you have the property, you are moving into the house, guess what? The land you bought initially maybe for as low as 1 million, 2 million, or 5 million naira in year one, that land can worth more than 10, 20 million in the next 5 years. Are you getting the bigger picture now? So you need to think a bit different so that you have a clarity of where you want to be. You can then tell yourself every month or every year moving forward, all the money I see from, free wins, money that comes in, windfalls that come into my pocket, I want to use that money, or I want to take 10% of my money moving forward and use it to buy stocks. If I can do that consistently for the next 5 years, then I should be able to have XYZ worth of stocks or mutual funds. Are you thinking different now? So that's the way I want you to be thinking. Not telling yourself for next year, trust me, I'm going to buy a house. Calm down now. Eh? You know at the back of your mind that you don't even have 10 million naira in your account and you are wishing for that one big miracle. I'm not saying miracle doesn't happen. Get it right. But I've come to realize that there is a lot of wishful thinking and not deliberate and intentional action towards what you're thinking for yourself. I'm not saying your prayers won't be answered, but those prayers will not come to fruition because that's the same way you've been praying for many years and you've not put structure to it. So you need to think about this. Prayers without structures and actions and plan is not going to happen. I'm not cursing you. It's just the principle of life. Let's move to the next level. Family or community. Not everybody will have kids. So that's why I'm really being careful about this. But I've come to realize that we all need to build community around ourselves. You all need to think about the family structure you have. If you are the type that have family that have kids, so I really want you to think about that. Ask yourself, in the next 5 years, what contribution am I going to make to that family? My kids, for example, where do you want them to be in the next 5 years? Your spouse, what contribution do you want to make to your spouse in the next 5 years? For some of you, you have your wife, for example, she came in with just one form of education, no investment on her, only you. You're just working the journey on yourself alone. You're not even thinking, can I support my spouse or my wife in the next 5 years? Let her even get a master's degree. Maybe in the next 5 years, that's my ambition for her. And first help her within the first 1 year to first agree what course does she want to study and what does she, and save up for it. And say maybe year two or year three, she's going to start. You've married her for 5 years, no difference in her life. The same way you married her is the same way she has been with you for another 10 years. Think about it. And this does not have to be a gender thing. It could be your wife, it could be a woman. You also listen to me. What impact have you made on your lives, on your husband's life? Can you think about that as well and start thinking, what can I do to support my husband as a way of contributing and pushing him to do something different in the next 5 years? So I really want you to think about that. And if you are the type that don't have kids, you're not married, that's not a problem. How about your siblings? What exactly are you contributing to each other? If you read about the book called The Jewish Phenomenon, it's about how family make legacies and support one another. What legacies are you working together with your siblings? So sit down and think about that. That in the next 5 years, where do I want to see? What support do I want to give to my siblings? It could be your younger, it could be your elder brothers or sisters. So think about that yourself now, because that's very important. But beyond your immediate family, when we talk about community, I've seen many people growing, working hard, growing old, they jump from one organization to another, no community of friends. When they are in their 50s and 60s, that is when all their activity then become going to church, going to mosque, nothing else. So think about it. What community are you building for yourself outside your place of work? You have Rotary clubs, you have Lions Club. Which of them do you belong to? Are you building community that can outweigh your time? Think about that. Toastmasters Club is there. Which of them do you belong to? Or all you do is just within that one circle. So you need to think about building community, because I've seen how this community helps you, particularly as you grow. You need them for your social network, you need them for your professional network, but you also need those community for your emotional and mental well-being. You see, this life, we all need each other. And as long as you can understand our principles about emotional and mental well-being, then you'll get to realize that you really need that for you to be able to grow. The fifth, your spirituality. Your spirituality has nothing to do with being a Muslim or being a Christian. It's about you. It's about what you see as you. Your spirituality could be as simple as what you see as your own worldview. What do you want to make the world better? I've seen people who will tell me one of the ways I connect to my being or I feel a bit of my morality is about fasting. And with that, they keep consistency to the fact that they believe fasting is one of the easiest way for them to maintain their spirituality. I've seen people who believe that charity is one of the ways in which they can maintain their spirituality. And if you also have your own belief, your spirituality tied to your religion, tell yourself, where do you see your spirituality to be in the next 5 years? And what are the baby steps you can take to improve on it? Let me recap those 5 things again. And I want you to think big. So listen to me. Your professional career. Next 5 years, where do you want to be? By 2030, what do you want people to celebrate you for? Your health. Everybody have one thing or the other. For some people, weight. For some people, bad health culture. For some people, it's as even bad that in the next 5 years, they've never for once go for annual checkup. And I've seen this kind of culture where people feel, me, go to hospital. No, 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 I'm 100% strong. Yes, I know. I'm happy for you. But brother, sister, auntie, daddy, you watching me right now, just for once, if you can even make it an habit and say every year, I'll go for annual checkup. Let them just check me up. Isn't this life? You don't have duplicate for it. Even if there is duplicate, before you go to where you pick the duplicate, gone. So you need to think about that. Your financial plan. Yeah, I know money is essential, and that's why I put it in the middle of that plan. Because even if you want to improve your education, you need money. Yeah, I know. Even if you want to rise, yes. But I kept that in the middle, and I want you to put structures and plan into it. And the fourth one, that's your family and your community. Think about it. And last but not the least is your spirituality. I really think if you can, for once, think about these 5 things. Think about the big picture. Put a KPI to measure what you want to achieve under each of it, and then see how it sums up over the period of 5 years. I've done this consistently, and I've seen how this has changed lives, not just for me, even for the people around me. And that's why I want to talk to you today about it. Will you take the action? Will you put structures? Will you be consistent? Do it and see your life better for it. It's the Money Mindset with Razak. Hit on the like button, share this with your friend, and turn on the notification. Hello, Your Excellency.